Welcome back to What's Up Merrimack Valley. My next guest is Susan Kneeland, artist and instructor, and owner of Kneeland Studio of Fine Arts.
That's correct.
Welcome, welcome, Susan.
Thank
it's great
you
to
very
have
much.
you.
Nice to
For our
be
viewers
here.
at home, just a little bit of bio on you. Susan is an award-winning artist, a juried associate member of the American Pastel Society, as well as being an inductee to the National Honor Society. In addition, she is a private instructor with 22 plus years experience grooming young students to further their education with top art colleges across our country, maintaining a 100% acceptance rate. That's amazing, Susan. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I asked you here today to talk about the Greater Haverhill Arts Association Paint-In. I know you're going to be participating in that.
I am.
And I believe you did participate in that last year,
I did
correct?
participate last year.
Excellent. Susan, you seem, I spent a lot of time on your website. There's so many interesting things to look at and to see there. So kudos to you for a great job. But you seem to be very well versed in many modes of art, including painting with watercolors, pastels, of course, as we mentioned, photography and sculpting. How do you decide which topics to bring forth in each of these different modalities?
That's a great question. Well, art can be kind of eclectic. If you're versed in all media, then a lot of times the main criteria is find something that inspires you, because making a piece of art can last many hours.
Sure.
And so in order to be able to follow through and complete a piece, you want to keep that verve, that excitement about what attracted you to it in the first place. And then I usually will just look at the subject matter, and just the subject matter itself seems to dictate what medium I want to create it in. So that's how I choose. I just study it and think, oh, that'd make a great watercolor, a great pastel.
Nice.
Etc.
It's kind of a gut feeling.
It is a gut feeling, and
Yeah.
it's experience.
Sure.
It's, knowing what medium will bring the best effect to that subject matter. And that takes time to learn.
I'm sure it does.
Time and mistakes and practice.
Practice makes perfect.
That's right.
That's right, over time. So your art has been widely displayed across the Merrimack Valley at different exhibits and shows. And you also have several pieces in many galleries across New England, it seems. So for our viewers and for other artists, what does it take, or what process do you have to go through preparing yourself for these types of shows and exhibits?
Well, first you have to really maintain a schedule. You have to be very conscious of requirements, time limits.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the artist will work out of the right brain. The creative side is the right brain, and the left side of the brain is the analytical side.
Right.
So you've got to balance those out. It's one thing to create a piece, but it's quite another to say, this is due on Thursday the 3rd at 3 o'clock, and this is the criteria that this particular gallery is requesting. And I tell my students all the time, especially when they're applying for shows, read the instructions, read them again and read them again, because I'm not speaking for all artists, but many of us have the tendency to skim over and go, oh yeah, they want a picture and they want it on this date. And by eliminating the small print, galleries can actually eliminate the artist. You really have to pay attention. So sometimes I'll peruse the internet and see what shows are coming up in different places if I want to expand where I'm exhibiting.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes time and dedication. You have to decide, and you also, for myself personally, I have to limit just how many places I'm trying to get into, because you can't create like a machine. So if I have 4 galleries representing my work and 2 sell, that means there's 2 voids I've got to fill along
Right.
with teaching.
Of course.
And then regular life.
I know. What? You have a life?
Kind of intense.
Right, and I knew, and I had heard from other artists that there is, a lot of time management involved, which is why
There is.
I asked you the question, because it's not just, hey, I'm going to make a few pretty pieces of art and throw them out there somewhere. It is a process, and it is a business.
It is.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I find is, and where I teach youth to adult, and a lot of times a parent of, say, one of my teens will say, well, they always wait till the last minute to do their stuff. And as much as I don't want to suggest that that's a great way to do things, that seems to be the norm for many artists. It's that deadline that keeps that that just enough tension for us. We like to wait till the end when we know we have that small window and then just really push to get that piece done for a show.
That's
I think
good
we
to know.
languish without a deadline.
Right.
We truly do. Gives us too much time to fix things and
That makes
change
sense.
things and
Yeah, right? And,
Yeah.
and fret over the little things.
Right.
Maybe just instead of moving forward.
yeah.
In looking at your website again, your range of subjects is very, varied. I was impressed, including portraits, landscapes, still lifes, abstracts, all kinds of things. Do you have a favorite subject for your art or a favorite type of subject?
I don't, although I seem to enjoy doing road series and beach series. One of the things about being eclectic or having a wide range, it can be very detrimental because a gallery is going to want to know that you can consistently produce a certain genre of artwork.
Okay.
So that would make me stay with a series that I like, such as the road series. Roads appeal to me. We are all on the roads a lot. They sell well. I mean, we're in our cars a lot now.
Absolutely.
And so if I do a road scene, many, many people can relate to it, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking to strike a nerve in someone of us, an experience that we have and similar,
Right.
and that we both share. And so if you submit to a gallery and you submit a dog, a person, a road, a beach, they look at your work and say, all right, well, it looks like it's actually been called, what's it called? Artistic schizophrenia. You can't make up your mind. They need consistency.
Right.
You've got to decide who you are. And when I'm presenting to a gallery, I stay in a consistent medium and a consistent genre.
They want to know what they're going to get.
And they want to know that they can sell that
Right.
people will come, oh, she's the one who does the roads. Okay, we only want your roads.
Right. And that makes sense. That
But then
does
when I
make sense.
create for my own joy, everything excites me, so I can't stop creating all the other things that I love.
That's fun. That's what keeps it interesting, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So as we mentioned at the top of the segment, you are an instructor with a very accomplished background and record. How did you fall into teaching?
Well, when my children, I have two children, and when they were reaching the end of their high school years, I had put my art down, and I decided to go back into it. And I was buying some art supplies at an art store, and they happened to teach out of there, and a woman said, would you like to rent a space and teach? And that's how it started. And I did that under her. We kind of shared that space for about 3 months, and in the meantime had a small studio built on my property, which is now expanded to the size of a 3-bay garage, and I have a frame shop on the back of it. So
Wow.
it's huge now.
It sounds
Yeah.
like it. It sounds
Yeah.
like it. And your instruction, is that mainly one-on-one, or do you have, groups for classes?
It's private only. However, I invented an art therapy program that I teach at 9 nursing homes in our area, and I've been doing that
good for
25
you.
years.
Good
So
for you.
that's a group. That's a
Nice.
group assembly, and it's pastels. But
Oh,
in the
great.
studio, it's private only, and it's age 8 to adult. My oldest right now is 90 years old. That comes on Wednesday mornings.
That's great.
So it's a wide range.
Yeah, sure.
My specialty is college preparation.
Okay.
So
Talk a little bit about that.
over the years, I really enjoy teaching teens. They're my favorite group. They're impressionable, they are eager, they have a lot of energy, and a lot of nervous energy that's nice to be able to help them focus and direct into a healthy place. And usually people, I have the reputation now of getting people in colleges, so I'm sought out because of the 100% acceptance rate.
Sure.
And I just really enjoy doing portfolio prep. I know what most of the colleges in our nation are requiring, especially the top 10.
Right.
I'm very in tune with what the requirements are, and I'll help a student find not just using me, but using classes at school and joining other organizations. There's a lot of ways to amp up a portfolio and a letter of recommendation. So if I get a student, say, who's a freshman or even 8th grade, and they know they love this, they want to do this,
Right.
I highly advocate for that, and we just start pushing. And I just start pushing right off the bat, like, okay, this is what you're going to need. And it's a slow, it's gradual.
Of course.
But by junior year, we have, if they start with me freshman year, by junior year, we have a portfolio. Then we just spend the rest of the time adding to it, so you have a bigger selection. You can
Well-rounded,
eliminate
yeah,
some. Yeah,
sure,
you can start to
sure.
pick through.
And tell us about, maybe the most interesting or the most challenging student encounter you've had, and a little bit about the outcome there.
Every day is different. I really like, again, I like the energy that teens bring in. Everything's exaggerated, everything's dramatic, and life is really exciting when you sit across from a teenager. Art and emotion come from the same side of the head. It's a private class. You always get stories. You always, sometimes you see people through areas of their life where they're struggling and they're able to confide in you. And as far as most interesting, I have a myriad of stories. As varied as all people are, these stories that, and situations that come into the studio. I always say if the studio walls could talk, we're all going down.
Right. Oh, okay. What happens in the studio
stays in the studio. Studio is
right.
Vegas. Exactly.
So as a member of the Greater Haverhill Arts Association, as we mentioned, you will be participating in the Paint-In.
I am.
In January. What are your plans for that series of events? Do you have something already in mind that you want to paint or do?
Well, it's much like Ann said, artists being so eclectic. You like last year when they presented it to us, I think I missed the first one. I went to the second one. I kind of showed up, I don't know, whenever I did for the third one, and then the fourth one, I was really all for it. My plans are to, attend all 4 this year, and just crank out whatever I can produce. I'm not a floral artist, so I find it very difficult to find inspiration in a subject matter that's not something that flowers inspire me,
right.
But to paint flowers doesn't inspire me.
Sure.
So I look for other things. I might look at the way the room looks, rather than how a poinsettia appears.
Sure.
So I'm getting more of like a broad view. And then I really enjoyed the last day, and it's nice to have the people walking through. But the most beautiful thing is, it's cold out, it's New England, it's January, you're kind of getting itchy to do something, and you walk into this greenhouse and you remember, like, oh yeah, that's right, that's what I love about summer. It's green, it's alive, there's blossoms.
Right.
It's a wonderful respite.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
Nice.
Even if you weren't going to create, it's a great place for someone to just go and kick around, because we forget.
Absolutely. And luckily, people can come and view and just meander, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Very nice. Well, we actually are out of time. We had such a great conversation. But before we go, should our viewers have questions for you about your work, interest in taking instruction with you, or any other questions, how can they reach you, Susan?
You could reach my...
right at the camera there. And
you could reach my phone number is 603-382-5332. That's the studio number. And you can also go online to www.susankneeland.com and look over my work, and there's a contact page that you can reach me at.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for your time
Thank you.
today. I look forward to seeing you and the other artists at the Paint-In in January.
Thank you very much.
And to our viewers at home, please do be sure to check out Susan Kneeland's website. It's amazing. She's got all kinds of art there for you to peruse, and other information about instruction should you want to tap your inner artist. And to our viewers at home, thank you so much for watching this episode of What's Up Merrimack Valley. We appreciate you being here and look forward to seeing you next time. Santo Insurance and Financial Services is proud to bring you the following tip for your information. Thanks, and we'll see you again.